our money to these corporations, they don't really put anything back in our neighborhoods, in our communities. So we said last year, we said justice or else. And people got a little nervous. They said, well, what is the or else? When you say justice or else, what is the or else? The or else is no justice, no black dollars. No justice, we're going to keep our money in our pockets, in our community, and we're going to duplicate and reproduce Black Wall Street all over again, because we're going to redirect our money and our spending power to our own black businesses the way it should be. And so that's what we want to do on November 26th. We want to have, that's the Saturday after so-called Black Friday, we want to have a black business tour, black business stop and shop, where we want to take from 50 to 100 people to various businesses black businesses in our communities. And we want to have 50 to 100 people spend $5, $10, $15, or $20 at each location, so that we hopefully will give those businesses a $500 to $1,000 boost for that one day. And then we want to have a business directory, a black business directory that you will walk away with, and we're going to retrain and recondition ourselves to spend our money with our own people so we can build up our own community. And I was, talking to James Pitts, who is the president, CEO of Green Gold Development Corporation, formerly council president James Pitts, and the question that he asked at a forum that he had called Eastside 21, the question was asked, where's the Buffalo Billion at on the east side? Somebody else said, well, the Buffalo Billion is in the pockets of the people who live on the east side. And since we don't have any sign or any indication that $1 billion is anywhere on the east side, then we shouldn't expect it to come. We should build up our own neighborhoods, our own communities, and our own business community. So that's what the basis of this is. And really, one of the main inspirations for it is what Boost Mobile. Boost Mobile shut down N.O.I. Cellular Communications, which is owned and operated by Dwayne Mayune over there on Fillmore Avenue, who has been over there one way or another in business for over 50 years. Brother Mayune's family has been in business on Fillmore for over 50 years. And now a foreign merchant came over and set up a Boost Mobile store. After Brother Dwayne had been there since 2012, he set up in 2014, and the arrogance of this person who does not live in our community, does not redistribute any of the wealth or profits back to our community, he said, well, Mayune should have known that his days were numbered the day we moved over there. And so the arrogance of this person, and so we're saying that, we're saying we're going to boycott Black Friday, and we're going to do what we should have always been doing, which is to spend our money with our own black businesses to support black business.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you, Brother Dahveed, is, now the support of black business, and you said about how other folks are coming to our community and displacing our businesses, that isn't anything new. Are there sufficient black businesses to support this initiative?
Yes, there is, and we're going to give a directory so you can locate, you can contact the black businesses that are part of the business tour, the Black Business Tour, and they have some very, we have everything that everybody else has. We have been brainwashed, we've been conditioned to think that other people's ice is colder, other people's sugar is sweeter, their grass is greener. But we have everything that we need in our community. We just need to unify, support, and buy black, so we can have more black businesses to create more jobs and create more revenue in our neighborhoods.
Now that Black Friday is the beginning, if you will, of that Christmas shopping season, and we become so commercialized. When it comes to Christmas, we feel that we got to go out and we got to buy this, we got to buy that, and things that may not be available at the price we're looking for in the black community. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
Well, it's part of that conditioning that we just talked about, because nobody else. They did a study to see how many times a dollar circulates in the various communities. And the Asian community, a dollar circulates in their community 30 days. In the Jewish community, a dollar circulates for 20 days. In the general white community, the dollar circulates 17 days. So Asians, Jews, and all the people that I just mentioned, they spend with each other. And you can't go to Williamsville or Gettsville and set up a black store in Williamsville or Gettsville and think you're going to get any support. And so, you know, all of those, the Asian community, but you know what? They said the black dollar, this is according to an article, a 2014 article in the Black Atlantic magazine, and it said that our dollar circulates for 6 hours compared to everybody else's. Once we get our money on payday, it's going out of the community not even half a day. Not even, you know, it's 6 hours and it's going out to somebody else that we're spending our money on. And so, you know, we all marvel about Black Wall Street. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. We marvel over it, we're fascinated by it. But the dollar circulated, according to this article, in Tulsa, Black Wall Street for over a year. Far beyond the Asian communities, the numbers I just quoted, far beyond the Jewish and the white community. Black Wall Street, the dollar circulated for, may have circulated for over a year. So that means that you go to your black butcher, you go to your black dry cleaner, you go to your black carpenter, you go to your black, all the businesses keep the money in the neighborhood, and they had so much wealth. We want to duplicate that.
You know, my co-host Willie Warren, and just before we take a break, he's always said that, you know, that we historically will bypass a black business and go miles out of our way to spend our dollar with someone that doesn't look like us, that doesn't think like us, doesn't care about us. And as you said earlier, Brother Dahveed, you know, under that whole premise that their sugar is sweeter and their ice is colder.
Right. Yeah, we've been conditioned. If you get bad service at a black restaurant, you say, man, see, that's why that's why, you know, black people can't make no pizzas. Black people, man, that's what, man, how you going to have Tyrone's pizzas? I'm not going to Tyrone's pizza. But let Burger King or McDonald's mess up your order. You keep going back to them. You get bad service at the top supermarket over on Jefferson. And you have some people who feel like, well, we fixed the tops for you. We heard your demands and we fixed tops. But, you know, bad service at their place, you keep going back. Get bad service one time at a black establishment. See, that's why niggas, I'm sorry for that language, but that's why Negroes, I don't shop with Negroes. But that's just conditioning. But you're exactly right. You know, people go out of their way to make sure they spend and support their own, except us. We don't do that.
Listen, we do have to take a break, and I know you've got another guest here, and I want to introduce him just after the break. Our number is 837-1112, 837-1112. We'll open up the phone lines a little bit later on as we talk to Brother Dahveed, Muhammad, and others. But right now, we do have to take a break, pay a few bills, and we'll be right back right after this. How you doing, man?
My brother, how you doing?
Good.
Dwayne Majune.
Okay.
My pleasure meeting you. Mr. Warren, how are you, sir?
Good.
Good to see you, sir.
I have Brother Dahveed
Always.
introduce you and bring you into the conversation.
Great,
Rossi, I don't know, you have to leave?
No, I do have to leave at 9, so
Okay.
that's
All right,
why.
get in. You know.
I got you. I'm
I know
listening.
Willie, this is one of Willie's favorite topics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well,
We are live, just to let you know.
huh?
We live on Facebook, Periscope.
Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Well, you know, I would say that, you know, looking at like 3 big businesses or in our community, the ones that we can't really go nowhere else: barbershop, beauty salon, liquor store. You know, and then after that, then the dollar disappears.
There's a barbershop. What is a barbershop?
Beauty salon,
Salon.
liquor store,
That's the 6
And
hours.
church.
and church. You know, I mean,
And
you
we seem to be gravitating out of that to some respect. You know?
unfortunately,
Yeah.
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 We don't spend as much in church as we do at the liquor store.
No, you're right. You're right. You know, I mean, we even see it across the board. I mean, look in terms of funeral businesses. You know,
Right.
and you see more and more people now going outside of our community for their burial.
Well, we could touch on that. You know, how are we having more black-faced businesses representing white companies? You know, that's
Yeah,
happening.
That's another facet, absolutely. Yeah, and that's been something that's been going on for years and stuff. You know, in fact, there was many people that have been indicted, you know, years ago for that. But it seems to kind of died down. You know, but it still happens, still occurs.
Yeah.
But when we come back, if you want to just touch a little bit more on the events on Friday, boycotting, and then what you intend to do on Saturday, because we want to keep that.
Yes, sir. Yep, we'll do.
And you can bring them into conversation. He can talk about, you know, his business and how this is placed and the importance of us, you know, keeping that whole idea of supporting our own.
Yes, sir, yeah. It's amazing, man. They Black Wall Street, they still doing it.
Yeah.
But different
Yeah.
tactics, though.
George, can I follow up with this one more time? All right. We're back on the community hour. Before we get back to our guests again, Hope Buffalo, seeking youth between the ages of 15 and 19. You can call Tony Badillo, 716-566-2314. If you want to have an impact, get involved.
And also want to remind people again that today at 4 o'clock at Walls Memorial AME Zion Church's the anniversary choir will be performing. Come on out, you know, have a good time. And then on tomorrow at 11 o'clock services, Friends and Family Day. And so again, you know, if you have a connection with Walls, even for just 1 minute, we ask you to come out to the church and celebrate with us.
Well, you know, George, that during the break, even though we were still live on Facebook and YouTube, due to Brother Muhammad here, that, you know, those companies that or those businesses that usually do flourish, it's because we had no other choice. Barbershop, where else do we want to go to get a haircut? Beauty salon, where else does a lady want to get her hair fixed? Liquor store, you know, and to some extent, you know, the church. Outside of that, where else do we really support where our dollars continue to circulate in our community? But when you look at that historically, you know, because of how racism has been in the country back then, you know, we couldn't legally go to some of these places, so we were forced to do it, but then it was almost like a benefit. But then when we were successful, folks hated on the success. Right. Now, you know, it's like not just looking at boycotting stores at this time, but just saying, hey, how do we just continue to support if a business, you know, you might have a bad experience. So then, you know, hey, customer service, that's what we need to, you know, get into their brains, say, look, if someone doesn't like something, try to work with them. And because then people will come back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
The other thing, too, and we talked about conditioning and this whole Christmas spirit, you know, maybe we need to change our mind and our focus in terms of, you know, how we feel about Christmas. You know, do we necessarily have to buy into all the things that we see on TV, or are there things out there that our community offers that helps to develop our minds a lot better than, especially in the minds of our youth?
Well, George, before you go back to our guests, I see one or two problems here with Black Friday. Shop black. The thing is that I've been black for a long time. I hate to tell you, almost 100 years. But I've been a black businessman for about 58 years, and we don't sell on Black Friday. Maybe what some of us want. Suppose I wanted a flat screen TV. Suppose I want to go online and buy. So I don't know whether that person is black or white. How do we get around that? If I want a computer and I can't find a black that sells that, you know, we caught up in this thing. How we gonna get out of it if we want to supply our wants?
Well, you know, Mr. Warren, I might say we may not have the tech manufacturing companies, but there are guys like Archie Amos who help folks fix their computers. And so we might have to start at a small level and then work our ways
Well,
up.
Mr. Henderson, you had to buy the computer first.
Yes.
Let me go
Well,
with brother.
we got to take baby steps. They have to take steps just like anything else. And this is just a small step. November 26th is a small step because we want to get in the habit of. We want to try to build the habit of shopping and buying black. Of course, you know, it's going to be a first step. We want to do this again during the tax refund season, and we want to build our own economy. We want to control the economics of our own neighborhoods, as Brother Malcolm would say. And once we can take baby steps to begin to build our own economy and increase the dollar velocity, we want to create and build and strengthen our own economy to the point where we will have the flat screen and technical supply stores and all of the things that they had in Black Wall Street.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the same thing if we had the flat screen TV.
Right.
The same thing could happen to it, just what happened to our brother up there on Fillmore. How do we box ourselves around that?
Well, we do it because we have to do it as a matter of survival, because when I'm just about to introduce Brother Mayoun to us and how Boost Mobile shut down Brother Mayoun's license to distribute and service Boost products at the request of a foreign merchant who came over after Brother Mayoun has already opened his store, and they used leverage because they had 5 stores versus Mayoun's 1 store to shut them down. So this is like Black Wall Street. We can't take this sitting down. We just can't lay down and roll over, but we have to we gotta crawl before we walk. We gotta walk before we run. So we can't put the cart before the horse and want to have all of these things instantly or overnight. We do want to be in the habit of supporting and buying and shopping at black businesses, and so we can be to the point down the road that you're talking about. But the main idea is that we shouldn't be shopping on Black Friday anyway, because it's merchandising, capitalizing off the good name of Jesus. So we're saying up with Jesus, down with Santa. Where Santa has hijacked the birth of Jesus, and now Jesus is nowhere in the picture. So, but it's a fat man coming down your chimney. The first lie that your babies ever hear is from their parents about a ripe, jolly old elf from the North Pole with flying reindeer. So, your parents, you don't expect your parents to lie to you like that. But then you find out that Santa don't exist. You find out that the Easter Bunny, Peter Cottontail don't exist. The Tooth Fairy. So you want to know, why did your parents lie to you? So first thing we want to do is we want to kick Santa to the curb. We want to say up with Jesus, down with Santa. And Macy's and Gimbel's and all these department stores, they don't even believe in Jesus. They don't even like Jesus. And so, but they use his name to make merchandise and capitalize and really bastardize and corrupt the good name of a good man so they can sell products and make a profit. So, we want to introduce the brother who is really the main inspiration and motivation, Brother Mayoun, Ansar Cellular Communications, who was shut down. And we protested Boost. We got out there for 4 days straight. Boost Mobile came to the table. And they said, well, you know what? We're going to let you have your license. But then over the next 2 days, this merchant was able to lean on them, and they backtracked, took his license, and made him sign a non-competition clause where he had to change the name of his store. So how can we allow people to come to our neighborhoods and dictate who can stay open, who can sell what, and they don't bring anything back? Brother Dwayne Mayoun has created several jobs. So he is here to talk about that right now, and I'd just like for him to go ahead and give us a little more information about what happened to him in his store.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Sound like an inside
Brother,
joke.
let me first give my my wonderful respects to Mr. Warren. We're speaking of supporting black businesses. Mr. Warren comes over to my place of business every other month to pay his bill. Okay? He may not purchase soaps and everything else, but he does make it his business to support Ansar Cellular Communication, and right now is Ansar Fragrances and more. We have so many problems that we have to address. We spoke of, and I'll get back to my situation over on Fillmore, but we talk about the Wall Street and how successful Black Wall Street, how successful they were. We have to remember what created Black Wall Street. The conditions that existed back then, where the brothers and sisters had to come together and support each other, feed each other, supply goods and services to each other. Okay, 100 years later, okay, now we have jobs. Okay, we live in a democratic society. We've gone to sleep. Okay, so you talk about this Black Friday was able to. The engine behind Black Friday is these billions of dollars of money that we spend as a Black community. Okay, because we don't have any appreciation for developing businesses anymore. Okay, so yes, we have problems and we have to deal with that, but we also have to deal with us. All right, we have to now renew that motivation to go in business, to be able to provide goods and services to our people. Now, I took a beating from this experience, but it did not deter me. Praise God, it didn't deter me. Our business is still open. All right, and we're working on an alternative now to provide people. As a matter of fact, people come in every day. All right, when are you getting Verizon in? When are you getting Simple Mobile in? When are you getting other services that I can take advantage of so I can leave booths? Okay, so I could have just closed down and said that the pressure was just too much. Okay, this game is too bad for me. Okay, and that's what they do. They intimidate you. All right, so this Black Buy bus tour means a lot to me, but more importantly, it educates the people, the consumer, the Black consumer in our community, who just don't think anything of spending their dollars. Okay, as the brother said, when they get paid on Friday, okay, it is out of their hands. All right, and we want to be able to put light on that problem and then step up to the plate and say, hey, I'm here to provide goods and services to you. I need your support.
Well, Dwayne, let me ask you this: as a businessman, and Brother Dahveed said, this is, we got to crawl before we walk, and this is hopefully an opportunity we can plant the seed so that more businesses established.
Right.
What are some of the things that you had to endure in order to get to become a businessman?
Well, first of all, I had to have the passion, okay, to build my business. This morning, I have a camera on my cell phone, and if I'm up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I look at my camera and see what's going on. The minute I begin to view it, I see police in front of our building. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. I had to get up out of the bed, okay, and go to that location to see what was happening. As it turned out, it was an accident. The car went into the building, our building, not too much damage, but the guy across the street, his building was damaged. My point is that you got to be totally committed, and we can't do this alone. So if a few of us can come together and say, what goods and services do you want to provide in your community? Okay, step up. Let's get behind that person. All right, and build that person's business. All right. So I have to be able to provide. Every morning I have to, number one, have the doors open. Okay, we open up stores and then we don't set the hours to abide by the hours.
Come on.
That's the other problem. See, a lot of work has to be done on us. If you say you open at 9 o'clock, you got to be open at 9 o'clock. If you close at 7, you got to be closed at 7. You're going to say you open on Sunday, you got to be open on Sunday. Okay, so my experience has been a wonderful experience, and what's made it so wonderful is the people in our community. Our people do support Black businesses when you give them the opportunity to support Black businesses.
All right. Listen, and one of the things, when you talk about establishing Black business, though, you talk about the infrastructure costs. Are there opportunities where we can establish maybe some incubators, so that businesses can start, and don't have the added expenses of having to have the hard building all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the things that we do want to do. We want to, if you could make money off of the hair that's sold. Hair is a $1 billion industry. Cell phones is a $1 billion industry. I just want to name some of our partners right now. We're working with right now the Black Chamber of Commerce, with James Pitts and Green Gold Development Corporation. We're working with the African Heritage Food Co-op, Queen of New York, Hair and Beauty. And so we want to really make cooperative economics a real reality. We talk about Ujamaa, cooperative economics. What if every time hair was sold, you could have money come to your pocket? What if every time a cell phone bill or a cell phone handheld device was sold, you could make money in your pocket? So this is what is called a co-op. A co-op like Lexington Food Co-op, you buy shares, you buy memberships. We want to give people a chance to buy a share in the businesses that we're asking you to support. And you will get an immediate residual back in the form of discounts, but you will get a long-term, bigger residual kickback the more products, the more services that are sold. So, we are devising that, but we're taking baby steps right now. And then we want to create the kind of funds that can generate an incubator and generate some type of incubator where we can kind of nurture and instill good customer services and good credit and good business, know-how. Because we're going to have to build. We know there's nothing coming from the Trump White House, and we know that like Brother Dwayne said, it looks like those conditions are coming back. That's forcing us. So we might as well get started now. With the Attorney General that he's looking to appoint and the cabinet members that he's looking to appoint, we know that there's nothing coming from a Donald Trump administration for us. And so, we like to talk more about that, but I'd like for Brother Dwayne, if he wanted to say something else about his experience.
Yes, just to continue on. So we're providing an alternative. Boost Mobile is not all of that, okay, but they give you the impression that they're all of that because they put a lot of money behind the brand. But people do come into the store on a regular basis and ask, do you have an alternative? On principle, because they would, if you have something out, Virgin Mobile Prepaid, Simple Mobile, Leica Mobile, whatever alternative we can provide them, they're willing to take advantage of it.
And I want to have you back on another occasion, Brother
Yes, sir.
Dwayne, so you and my co-host Willie can talk about the experience of being a black businessman.
Yes.
And as Brother Dahveed said, how we can create more of that synergy, and so that we don't have to go outside the community. Want to do this though, and I know my callers are banging off the line here. 837-1112, 837-1112.
George.
Would you support?
Yeah, but go ahead. I
Would you
just want to get in
support
there one time.
boycotting Black Friday and encourage the Black Buy bus tour on Saturday?
Just one couple of things. One, Buffalo has had Milana Karanga for several decades, and he's pushed Kwanzaa, and that's one thing. Second, Mr. Warren's question on computers and whatnot. There's a store, black-owned, on Bailey called ABC Technology. They sell computers and supplies. They even service Collider, UB, ECMC, and whatnot. And so they're next to the new renovated theater. So we also have to get this in the minds of our young people and get them thinking about this so that they can carry the
And
legacy
there's
on.
also on Jefferson Avenue, there's a print shop,
ahead,
ink
George.
spot.
Yes.
And all your printing needs can be taken care of, and they can repair a computer,
Yeah,
and
but-
they can do a
yeah,
host of other things.
yeah.
So there are some black businesses.
Yeah, but see, they should be advertising here on this black radio show. Let us know that they exist.
That's right.
All right.
know if you don't exist, why
We'll
would
put
you
that
use
clarion
that?
call out to advertise here on the community hour. But let me
All
go
right.
to our phone line, see what's on the mind of our callers. Good morning, caller. You there? Yes, you're on the air.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to commend Brother Dahveed and Brother Dwayne for this initiative, and I wanted to ask them if the business tour will continue throughout the year. And I also hope that churches will join in, because many of our churches have vans where they can transport people, and I wanted to know if you have spoken to the pastors about that. And my last question, Brother Dahveed, when you get the directory together, please give me several copies if you can, so that I can distribute them to my block club. And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
Yes, man, that's a wonderful question. We did reach out to churches, and I want to thank the True Bethel Baptist Church family and Bishop Darius Pridgeon and all of the elders and the deacons at True Bethel. They were not able to give us a bus, but they did give us a True Bethel church van to use for the tour. And we're inviting pastors and church families, because when we go on this caravan tour, we're going to be, creating honking horns, and it's going to be a high visibility. And we love for people to see True Bethel Church and, the various names of churches on the side of the van, that you actually support economic initiatives from a grassroots level. This is from the ground up. This is not, and so, we know that our bishops and our pastors don't only just preach in the pulpit, but they come out in the communities, and it would be great. And so we want to thank True Bethel for allowing us to use of their van, and we're the CAO van, and we also want to ask other churches to allow the use of their vans or buses.
Before I forget, well, a couple of Mr. Doyle wants to know, first of all, is this going to be an ongoing effort? And then, and in addition to that, people want to be a part of this bus tour. How do they get in touch with you?
Well, the number to get in contact with us is 332-3773, extension 202. That is the CAO Maston Resource Center on Fillmore and Glenwood. Once again, 716-332-3773, extension 202, to find out more information, to make reservations, to get picked up. We'll pick you up in the van and bring you. We're going to start off at Maddie's. Maddie's is going to put together a special breakfast package for us. So we're going to start the day out with some nice fish and grits, coffee, orange juice, salmon cakes, whatever.
All right.
And then we're going to stay there briefly. It's going to be a reduced breakfast package. When Maddie's has been a perennial, constant pillar in our community. We want to support Maddie's. And then we'll go from there, and we'll go to various businesses. But we'll pick you up and we'll bring you there if you call 716-332-3773, also to find out how you can help support this effort as well.
All right.
But it is going to be an ongoing effort. We plan to do the bus tour again during tax refund season, but we have something also planned for Kwanzaa that we like to talk about as soon as we get a chance.
Okay. Let me go back to our phone lines. Good morning, caller. You there?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Listen, I can understand what these brothers are talking about, but the problem that you have in basically all these communities is that, like, black people spend more money than anybody. They run the economy, and, like, they can do just about anything that they wanted to do. If they started boycotting and folks started feeling the pressure, then things would be a whole lot different. And that's what needs to be done. And then people need to sit down and think about what kind of business that they would like to start, go ahead and get it started. And other folks that sit back and look at them and want to hate, they need to just step off. But like, we run the economy. If we stop spending our money, the whole country would dry up.
All right. All right, caller. Thank you very much, Listen, for calling this morning. Let me squeeze in this next caller. Good morning, caller. You there?
Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Brother Dahveed, it's so nice to hear your voice, and what a wonderful plan. I just want to say that, you don't have to pay your Boost Mobile phone bill at any of those locations. The same services they give you, you can do all of that online. And most of the people that shop at those stores, you have the internet on your phone. You have a way to pay your bill. You have a way to order your Boost Mobile phone. We can drive these people out of our neighborhood just by using the services online. And so I'm urging people, if you listen, do it online. Let those shops close up, because they had no right to do that to that brother.
I agree with you. Let's not necessarily patronize him, but let's patronize Brother Dwayne.
There you go.
He can do a number of those things as well. We don't have to go online. The brother's right here live and live in color.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I like when you look at Hurdle Avenue, you look at Delaware, you look at Elmwood. They have shops and cafes and businesses all up and down. They have antique shops. You can tell that people are alive there. There's a vibrancy that's there that you don't see on Fillmore and Genesee and Jefferson. And so we want to recreate that, like Brother Medion said, in the days when we were forced to, we were better off then. It's hard to believe that as long as black people been frying chicken in America, that Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Grease is known as the face of fried chicken in America with 11 secret herbs and spices. The 11 secret herbs and spices, he got that from grandma, one of our grandmothers somewhere, or Chick-fil-A. But we have the talent, the ability, the skill, and as brother said, well, this is a consumer-driven society, market or economy, and so the consumer drives the market, and we do have to recognize our power, and we should redirect that power, redistribute the pain, as Martin Luther King said, and redistribute dollars back to our black businesses.
All right. Gentlemen, last words.
Do not support, do not encourage patronage to businesses that do not respect you, and they do not give nothing or anything back to the community. Refuse to do it.
Brother Dahveed?
Yeah, I want to just give that number once again, 716-332-3773, extension 202. We will come pick you up for, to start the day out with fish and grits and salmon cakes. And we want to thank our partners. We want to thank True Bethel Church. We want to thank this CAO, L. Nathan Hare, Sam Radford. We want to thank all of the partners. And so we want to thank the African Heritage Food Co-op, Alex Wright, who was a hardworking young entrepreneur. And we want to give you a preview that you will be able to buy shares into these businesses. To have cooperative economics, and then that way we'll have a real incentive to see the success of the businesses in our neighborhoods, because we'll be making money off of, when the business makes money, we'll make money.
What time will you be getting started on Black Buy?
We're gonna go from 10 a.m. Until 4 p.m. or until. But we schedule from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're gonna meet at the CAO Raffi Green Center on Fillmore and Glenwood. We're going to go to Maddie's. At some point, we're going to go to the Oak Room restaurant, maybe in the middle of the tour or somewhere toward the end of the tour, and have a nice lunch or meal. But it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a festive day, but it's going to be an economic development day in a way that will be, very high energy.
Okay. There's a Facebook page as well, right?
Okay.
There's a Facebook page, Black Business Tour at facebook.com. You can go ahead and like it.
Okay. All right, listen, we're out of time. I want to encourage people to boycott Black Friday and support this Black Buy bus tour on Saturday. Again, that number is 332-3773, extension 202. It is 9 o'clock, and we have to say good morning.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Willie. We ran a little over.
That's all right.